Hello everyone, greetings from Story Corner at Bookmine, and I'm Sudha Umashankar, and the story that I'm going to narrate to you is Karna, Pitru Paksha and his legendary generosity. We are right in the middle of Pitru Paksha, so I thought this would be a very appropriate story to narrate because there is a connection between Karna and the origin of Pitru Paksha. Now, all our departed ancestors are said to reside in Pitriloka, which is somewhere between heaven and earth, and ruled by god Yama. And during the Pitru Paksha or the Mahalaya Paksha fortnight, they leave their abodes and come down to their descendants' home for the fortnight up until Amavasya. And this is considered a very good time to propitiate departed ancestors and make offerings of food, til tarpan, and do pinda dan and other rituals to make them to make their passage easier, and so that they don't go hungry, and that when they go back they have enough food in their abodes. Now you might want to know what is the connection between Karna and Pitru Paksha. Karna, as you know, was you might know is that he was known for his legendary generosity. Nobody who came to Karna went away empty-handed, and he always gave alms and in particular gold and silver, and he never said no, even if the demands were literally asking for his life. But the one thing Karna did not do is to provide food to people, and especially to his ancestors, because he did not know who his ancestors were, by virtue of the fact that his birth happened under very unusual circumstances. So when Karna was slain in the Kurukshetra war and his spirits went up, he was fed, can you believe it, gold and silver, but no food whatever. So Karna asked Yama the reason for this, and Yama told him that this was because he had made huge donations of gold and silver, yes, but not of food. So Karna explained to him that he did not know who his ancestors were, and that is why he didn't make any food offerings. And then he asked for permission to go back to earth, which Yama facilitated, and he came down to earth during this Pitru Paksha fortnight, and during this fortnight he made plenty of food offerings and performed many rituals for the passage and soul of his ancestors. And that is how the Pitru Paksha fortnight came to be. Now I cannot end at this point without telling you the Karna story in full. It's a deeply moving story of a character that I am very fond of, and I'm very happy to, as I said earlier, read it out and narrate it to you. Now, once upon a time, there was a king belonging to the Yadava clan, and his name was Kunti Boja. And this king, unfortunately, had no children, so he adopted his niece Preeta and called her Kunti. One day, sage Durvasa paid them a visit. Now, sage Durvasa was known for his fiery temper, and he had the proclivity to fly into rage at the drop of a hat. So everybody was a little, wary about him. And Kunti Boja told Kunti to look after the guest very well and cause him no displeasure. So sage Durvasa stayed with them for a whole year, and Kunti left no stone unturned in looking after him, and the year passed off very uneventfully, and Kunti was naturally very relieved. Sage Durvasa also was very, very happy. So just before leaving, he told her that he would give her a boon, which was a mantra, which she could invoke, thinking of any god of her choice, and ask the god to bless her with a son who was almost equal to the god. And he left. Now, once Durvasa left, Kunti couldn't wait to test this mantra, so she prayed to Lord Surya, and she asked him to bless her with a son who was equal in every way to Surya. And soon Surya appeared and said she will have the son she desired. Kunti protested initially and said, no, I am not married, I just wanted to test out the mantra, but unfortunately there was no going back, and a son was born. Karna was born with the kavachas and the kundalas, which were a gift from his father, a divine father, Surya. Now, Kunti, being unmarried, couldn't keep the child, so she placed the baby Karna in a basket and set him afloat in the river with a heavy heart, wondering when she will be able to acknowledge that he was her son. Further down the river, there was a charioteer called Adhiratha, and he did not have any children of his own. So when he saw this basket floating with the little baby, he was absolutely beside himself with joy, and so he took the child back home to his wife Radhe. So the charioteer was wondering which heartless mother could have probably brought herself to abandon this beautiful child. Once they went home, they began discussing names, and Radhe wanted to call him Vasu Seshana because of his kavachas and kundalas, but Adhiratha said he should be called Radheya, being the son of Radha. So Karna had a very, very happy childhood with all the love lavished on him by Radhe and Adhiratha. Kunti, his real mother, had meanwhile had married King Pandu of Hastinapura, and Pandu was ruling the kingdom for his blind brother Dhritarashtra. Now King Pandu, because of a curse, could not have any children of his own, so he retired to the Himalayas with his two wives, Kunti and Madri. And one day King Pandu confided in to Kunti and said he felt very sad that she was childless, and that it was causing him great sorrow. At which point Kunti told him not to worry, because she knew of a mantra that she could invoke, and that both his wives would be blessed with children. And so on invoking the mantra, 5 sons were born to Pandu, to 2 of his wives. They were the Pandava princes, of course. There was Yudhishthira, who was a son of Dharma, Bhima, who was a son of Vayu, Arjuna, son of Indra, and Nakula and Sahadeva, who were born to the Ashwini twins. Now when King Pandu died, his other wife Madri immolated herself on the pyre, and Kunti took the 5 princes to Hastinapur, and she left them in the care of Bhishma. Now Bhishma promised that Pandava will be raised as heirs of Pandu, along with their cousins, the Kauravas. Now right from day one, there was a bitter rivalry between the Pandava princes and the Kauravas. Now the Kaurava youngsters did not like the Pandava princes at all. They complained about Bhima tormenting them on the playground and haunting them in their dreams. And Karna, who came to Hastinapur often, watched all this from a distance. Now Bhima, he felt, was being very unfair, and Duryodhana was at the receiving end. Now there was Dronacharya, a very real guru in the sense of the princely arts, and he was coaching all the Kaurava princes and the Pandava princes in various skills. And it was obvious that Arjuna's skill in archery was unmatched by any one of the Kauravas, and they feared that one day the Pandava princess would rule them, all of them. The talented Karna soon also became a pupil of Dronacharya, but he felt the Guru was always partial towards Arjuna and would never let him outdo Arjuna. However, Karna did one day muster enough courage to ask Dronacharya to teach him the Brahmastra. And Dronacharya turned around and told him that the Brahmastra is only meant for Brahmins and high born Kshatriyas, and that it could not be taught to a charioteer's son. Karna was really stung by these words, and so he thought of another plan. Karna suddenly remembered that Parashurama, another guru, hated the Kshatriyas. So he decided to go to him in the guise of a Brahmin lad, and he was very sure that he would be accepted as a pupil and be taught the Brahmastra. When he reached the ashram of Parashurama and he introduced himself as a Brahmin lad, Parashurama said he was willing to teach any worthy youth who was not a Kshatriya this great technique, and so Karna was accepted. Karna at that point could not do anything else but resort to this deception. In time, Parshurama grew very fond of his bright pupil Karna, and one day he declared that he was now ready for a master weapon, the Brahmastra. And the techniques, related techniques, were imparted to Karna. Later on, when Parshurama was once resting on the lap of Karna, Karna was stung by an insect, and but not wanting to disturb his guru, he did not stir, and he bore with the pain quietly. Now when Parashurama awoke, he was horrified to find blood around, and he immediately got so furious with Karna and said, "You are not a Brahmin lad, and only a Kshatriya could put up with such pain to protect another." Karna then confessed that he was the son of a charioteer and a Sutaputra, and he begged for forgiveness from Parashurama. However, the sage cursed Karna for deceiving the Guru and said the knowledge that he had received would fail him when he needed it most. A totally dejected Karna walked away aimlessly, not knowing what to do, when suddenly an animal charged at him, and he thoughtlessly drew out his bow and killed it. It was a cow that he had shot at, and the Brahmin whose cow it was cursed Karna and swore that he too would be killed when he was utterly helpless, because that's the way Karna killed his poor innocent cow. Crushed totally in spirit, Karna decided that the only place he could now go to was to go back to a person who loved him and knew him well, which was his mother. And he thought to himself, it seems as if fate is against me, and I'm really scared to think what else is in store for me. And he sought the company of his mother at that low point in his life. He stayed with her for some months, and then he told her that he had heard that an open tournament was being held in Hastinapura, and that he intended to compete. He said, "A valiant warrior like me is sure to find a place among the valiant." The day for the tournament was fixed. Arjuna was easily the champion of the day with his splendid skills and all the feats that he displayed. Not long after, there was commotion all around, and all eyes turned on the entrance when Karna made his appearance. And to the surprise of everybody, Karna equaled Arjuna in every one of his feats. Duryodhana, who was watching, was jubilant, and he said, "Welcome, O valiant one." And he said he was truly a stroke of fortune that Karna was there, and he asked him what kind of reward he would need to join him. Karna was truly overwhelmed by this display of affection and the high praise, and he said that all that he was grateful for the love that was shown to him, and he said all he needed was to face Arjuna in single combat. Duryodhana nodded it in assent, and he said, "Yes, that will be done." As this combat was being readied, one of the gurus in the Kaurava Kuru palace stepped forward and questioned Karna's birth and said that our prince Arjuna will only fight with someone equal in birth and status. Now Karna did not know what to say, but Duryodhana lost no time in coming to his rescue, and he crowned him the prince of Anga. And just then Adhiratha, his father, came forward and blessed him. Now Bhishma charged forward and said, "Go, Sutaputra, drive your chariot. You are not worthy of death at Arjuna's hands." Now Duryodhana was seething with anger at all the insults heaped on Karna, so he led him away, and the two of them went ahead in Duryodhana's chariot. Now Duryodhana felt very safe in Karna's company, and he felt an inexplicable sense of comfort when he was around, because he felt protected from the Pandavas. And so he reassured Karna and said, "Come along with me, Karna. It takes one hero to recognize another." As they drove on, Karna in turn promised Duryodhana that he had not befriended him in vain, and that he would kill Arjuna in single combat one day or the other. The years wore on. The relations between the Pandava princes and the Kauravas was getting more and more strained. Karna, impelled by his love for Duryodhana, stood by him resolutely. Yudhishthira, meanwhile, was cheated in a game of dice, and he and his brothers and queen were banished for about 13 years. At the end of the exile, the Pandava princes were ready to come to some kind of compromise, but Duryodhana, encouraged by Karna, would have none of it. He refused to negotiate. He said if the Pandavas wanted their kingdom, that they would have to fight for it. Meanwhile, in the heavens, Indra was worried about his son Arjuna, and he said, only if Karna is deprived of his kavacha and kundala would my son Arjuna be safe. Lord Surya, on the other hand, was concerned about Karna, and he felt that he should warn him ahead so that he doesn't fall prey in case Indra intervened in some way or the other. Surya appeared in a dream and tried to warn Karna not to ever part with the kavachas and the kundalas. However, as fate would have it, Indra appeared in the guise of a Brahmin and asked for alms, and he asked in particular for the kavachas and the kundalas. And he added that Karna, being known for never saying no to anybody, should accede to his request. Karna handed them over graciously and told Indra that he knew who he was and why he was there. And he said he was giving him his kavachas and kundalas, literally giving away his life, for he didn't want it ever to be said that Karna turned down somebody without giving him anything. In return, Indra gave Karna Shakti, his weapon, and told him that he could use it, this very powerful weapon, just once. The Pandavas, meanwhile, were still hoping for peace, and they approached Krishna. Krishna came and spoke to Duryodhana, but Duryodhana was hell-bent on war, and he was fully banking on Karna to win the war for him. So Krishna decided that he needed to go and meet Karna and tell him of his birth, which he did. he also made other promises to him. He said he would make him a great emperor, and that he would have 5 powerful brothers and a mother who loved him dearly. Karna was in a terrible predicament. On the one hand, he valued Duryodhana and the love he showered on him, and he also was very fond of his foster mother Radhe and Adhirata. So eventually he told Krishna that if you really have my interest at heart, promise me that you will not reveal my identity till I die. Krishna did so. When Kunti heard that the talks had failed, she too paid a visit to Karna, and revealed to him the secret of his birth, hoping against hope that the war could be averted. But Karna told her that what she was asking was against his dharma, but so as not to turn down his mother's plea entirely, he said, I will spare all your other sons except Arjuna. You will still have 5 sons, and I will have my honor. Kunti left with mixed feelings. Bhishma was destined to lead the Kaurava army in war, and when Karna heard that, he went to Duryodhana and told him that Bhishma has never been fond of him, and therefore he would not take orders from him, and that he would enter the field only when Bhishma had fallen. So the battle of Kurukshetra began. It lasted for 18 long days. Many valiant men died on either side. The venerable Bhishma fell on the 10th day, and he fell on a bed of arrows that stuck out from his own armor. Karna had always longed for the love and affection of Bhishma, and when he heard that he lay wounded, he rushed to the spot and said, My lord, I have never had the good fortune of having you like me, yet I have come here to pay you my respects and ask for your blessings. Bhishma in turn blessed Karna and said, Karna, I knew right from the beginning who you were. Your loyalty to Duryodhana is your dharma. May you lead the forces to victory. Go fight your fated enemies. And with Bhishma wounded, it was now decided that Drona should now command the Kaurava forces. Duryodhana told Karna that he was hoping that Karna would lead his forces, but in what could be a device for even today's politicians, Karna explained that there should be no jealousy among heroes at this very critical stage. So the battle raged on. On the 14th day, Karna was in combat with Bhima. He could have easily killed him, but he told Duryodhana, please forgive me, because I have made a promise to my mother, and I would like to honor it. Once Arjuna came to defend Bhima, Karna thought he was very, very lucky. That day the battle continued long into the night, and luckily for Bhima, his son Gadotkaja and his Rakshasas lent support, and the Rakshasas, as we all know, are strongest at night. Duryodhana urged Karna to kill them, for otherwise their whole army would be vanquished. So, having no time to think, Karna quickly pulled out his the infallible Shakti weapon, which he had in fact saved up for Arjuna, and he struck Gadotkaja with it. And once more, luck was on Arjuna's side. For Karna lamented, I have killed Gadotkaja, but I have lost this mighty weapon. On day 15, Drona was slain, and the Kaurava heroes unanimously wanted Karna to lead them. Duryodhana was very pleased because he was very sure of victory. Karna was glad that he now had an opportunity to demonstrate his loyalty to Duryodhana, and he promised to lead his forces to victory. Arjuna will die at my hands, he said. That day Nakula was at his mercy, but he let him go. And Karna told him, go home to Arjuna and take care of yourself. Nakula was absolutely humiliated, and he felt he could have died instead. Karna then asked for Shalya as a charioteer, because he felt that it was a skill of Krishna, who was Arjuna's charioteer, that supported him and aided him in the battle. That done, Karna went to his tent. He tossed and turned in bed that night. He said to himself, tomorrow I fight Arjuna and I must try to kill him, but my chances are rather poor. I will try to fight and spare Yudhishthira, for my mother Kunti should know that I kept my promise. How I longed for her love. And in these moments, he said, it is the love of Radhe and her husband and the noble Duryodhana that gives me comfort. The next day, Karna engaged Yudhishthira in single combat. Stop. Arjuna will avenge me, swore Yudhishthira. Karna teased him and said, leave the battle to your superiors. And when Arjuna heard all this, he could not wait to attack Karna. They were both admiring each other for their skill. While Arjuna thought, it's hard to believe he is only a charioteer's son, Karna realized that Arjuna fought like a king. But sadly, the end for Karna was very near. One of the wheels of his chariot sank into the ground, and at that point his memory failed him, and he could not recall the mantra that was taught to him by Parashurama. When he jumped down and tried to drag the wheel out of the mud, at that point Krishna prompted Arjuna to shoot an arrow, and that arrow severed the head of Karna from his beautiful body. When Kunti heard of Karna's death, she lamented that she had disowned him at birth and was now left to grieve in private. After the battle, the victorious Pandavas performed all the rites for their kith and kin. And just as Yudhishthira had ended all the offerings, he was asked to wait for one more. Who have I left out? He asked. Karna, said his mother. Why should I perform any rituals for Karna? Isn't he our arch enemy, the charioteer's son? Asked Yudhishthira. And then Kunti broke down and told all of them the whole story. All the Pandava brothers recalled their various encounters with Karna. The sun god smiled, and the brothers kept him in their hearts. So Karna, who had longed for love and recognition and a good name while he lived, was able to secure all of this, like many great men, only at his death. That's the end of the Karna story, and I hope you liked it, and as much as I did in narrating it to you. Thank you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel so that you are updated of all our future uploads.